In Conexion, we're talking about any time that we are actually in connecting with a partner, okay? So whenever we connect, we want to make sure that whatever area of the lead towards the follow is covered. Let's say in my case, this is a connection that we're gonna have for dancing, for leads. Like the Spider-Man hands, let's talk about, we can say the rock and roll sign, all right? The hands are slightly curved this way, right? It's like a chain that doesn't close. Followers are gonna use this as a point of reference to say, hey, I'm gonna cover with all my fingers except the thumb, but with the emphasis on the middle and the ring finger to wrap around it. If you notice, Miranda is going all the way to the back without squeezing. A poor connection will be keeping these hands open like that. Why? Because every time that I'm moving that way, we're gonna constantly be losing it and have to use the thumbs. We never use the thumbs. No pressing, no squeezing, okay? Now with this connecting, that means that the job of the lead is to maintain it, so that way when I go this way, it creates what we call in the resistance the pulling feeling. And when I go this way with this part of my fingers, it's gonna towards the hand feel the feeling of pushing. So it's gonna be a little bit of a buffer zone in between that gives the feeling of a spring, right? Now with that said, I'm gonna present the other hand the same way. It's like two guns pointing at my partner. The pinky finger stays out, and then we move. Now again, make sure that you're not squeezing, but also make sure that the fingers are not loose, because if I'm gonna go back, or let's say I don't want to make sure that we don't lose that way, and therefore going back will create the feeling of pulling as we talk in resistance, and going forward create the feeling of pushing. But none of those feelings are gonna happen if we're not connecting, right? So wrap around yourself is called the molding technique, in which you mold the lead's finger. And the leads, you gotta give something to be molded on, all right? So make sure that you give those fingers. Don't do this, because if you do this, your fingers are always gonna have a little give. So if my follow was to pull me, we're gonna be making it easy to lose because my give is this. But if your fingers like that, your give is gonna be a tiny bit this way, then you can always have that sort of feeling of flexibility, right? Very good. So this is your open position. So when we do cumbia, we're still going back, connecting, there. If the fingers come into this because the rotation, that's okay. Make sure that you just don't close it. Don't let it rest like this, okay? Keep it out. If my hands goes into this position, which is over, we talk about this as an option. I'm giving this to be molded on, which is the thumb. Make sure that your followers give that connection, so that way you still feel the push and pull through resistance, right? And we leads, make sure that we hold the hands without squeezing, but covering. This is what the followers are giving me. This is what I'm gonna cover. It's not this, and it's not this, it's all the hand, right? For the fingers, it's all the fingers wrapped around with the emphasis on the middle on the ring finger. Then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. If I switch hands, 6, 7, she's gonna mold my whole fingers into that. Let's say we go into what we call the close position. There's a variation, and give my hand over here. What does that connection means? That every part of my hand is gonna touch or connecting with my partner, in this case the whole shoulder blade. That means that every part of the hand, the forearm and the arm for the follower is gonna touch the forearm and the arm of the lead, and connect on the back, also touching. So that way, if I'm moving my body towards the right, it's gonna feel that we can move as one piece, because all the energy of the lead and through the resistance get transferred to the follows right away. And this hand, I'm gonna keep it down, or I'm gonna keep it up according to preference. For cumbia, we keep it down to go 1, 5. There's a variation of our frame, or I can open up 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. But whenever we connect to create contact. In close position, the follower is gently down and the lead gently up to create that feeling of pressing against each other, as we talk about resistance, okay? Make sure that when the leads are doing that, the followers don't bring the shoulder up like that, but keep the shoulder down as to create a connection. It's kind of like raising it up, right? And then we go. Tum, tum, ta. Again, it's not about this is me moving my arms. This is me keeping the resistance and moving my body. Remember, the arms move as a consequence of the body movement, okay?